What a week we've just had in Las Vegas for Hull KR versus the Leeds Rhinos. 15,000 Betfred Super League fans descended on the Sin City. Leeds Rhinos were superb in the Allegiant Stadium. Viva Rugby League!
Can't tell you how proud I am. And I'm so honoured. I didn't realise how much this all means to all the fans and everyone. So, I'm nearly a mascot for the band.
Really happy for these guys. They've come to support us, travelled, across the world. We've had such a good time, and then the boys, we wanted to make sure we put on a show for everyone. I think we've done that today.
You don't win many times in your career by 50 points on a stage like this. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Against the competition as well, who were world champs, which is no main feat, is it? So yeah, we're very pleased with that one.
Definitely the winner. Rugby League once again has been fantastic here in Las Vegas.
It is now my favorite sport, and I'm obsessed with rugby league.
Atmosphere, the vibe, being able to represent our code, our sport in an amazing stage like this is unbelievable. We feel really privileged.
Oh, it's brilliant. Sun's shining, weather's good, the fans have been in fine spirits, so we're glad we made the long trip to come and watch them.
Yes, what a week it was in Las Vegas, and there in Vegas as well was Barrie McDermott. Barrie, how much do you enjoy Las Vegas?
Oh, I loved it, Matt. What an energising couple of days. And I think back to when Catalan came in to the competition, walking down through Perpignan, seeing the various people, familiar faces, unfamiliar faces, thinking, we shouldn't just commit ourselves to just being an M62 sport. To be walking down Las Vegas Strip, chatting to people, seeing fans from different teams, not just Leeds and Hull KR, different teams, a little bit like Wembley used to be back in my childhood, where you would book your place, you would go, you would support the event rather than just your team. But absolutely magnificent as an occasion. And the one thing it did do is it told the NRL who we are and what we're about. We're not just there to take part, we were there to take over, and the Rhinos fans, the Hull KR fans, they took over Fremont Street and the stadium itself.
There's obviously talk of investment from the NRL into the Betfred Super League, but what is clear from that event in Las Vegas, and the NRL have still got 2 more years left in that event, that they need the Betfred Super League clubs, don't they? One, for the atmosphere in the stadium. It was far better when Hull KR were playing Leeds as well. And Fremont Street, let's be honest, the atmosphere dropped after the Super League teams left.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I was talking to a couple of people who I know from Australia, including Danny Badeiros, and they were saying that the atmosphere, the passion, the energy that they brought, not just to Fremont Street, but to the game itself, was something that even the players were talking about. Even the players talked about the singing, the banter between both sets of fans.
How good was Fremont Street?
Unbelievable.
It was Andy Bell, obviously, singing was fantastic, but for both sets of players, they were treated like rock stars, weren't they? Not rugby league players, rock stars.
Well, the first things first, it felt like a final. It felt like something that you wanted to be part of. And then the second thing is, how do we replicate that? What do we learn? What do we bring back home? And what do we sprinkle around the grand final, the Challenge Cup, and some of those bigger events? Magic Weekend, of course, is something we need to just think about what we've picked up and what we can bring and integrate.
It's creating events, isn't it? That's what the NRL are very good at, creating events and making it entertaining.
I remember a mate of mine who's a rugby league novice saying you shouldn't be so naive that you think that the 80 minutes will motivate somebody to part with the money. It's about what you put around it, not just at half time, not just at pre-match, but as we saw on Fremont Street, a night before, 2 nights before, and make it something that's an event, not just that spectacle of 80 minutes.
And you got on stage at Fremont Street as well, didn't you?
I got up on stage. I didn't sing like Andy Bell, although I reckon I could have done a better job on the match day. I don't know what went wrong there, but yeah, I got up, said a few words, and again, just really pleased and privileged to represent the Betfred Super League, represent the two teams, but represent a whole of rugby league. So it was an enormous event, a great energy booster for me, and I dare say that everybody will come home and again, just fire into what's left of the season, and we'll see what will unfold.
Let's talk about the game. It was actually 2 points up for grabs. It was a Hull KR home game, but as you said, the build-up, the week, it felt like a cup final, didn't it?
Yeah. I've thought about it. I've reflected on the game itself. Leeds Rhinos were absolutely awesome. I haven't seen them perform.
That's one of the best performances in years.
It's the best performance on a big stage, on a big game. So you could say a couple of years, but I think when it comes to the crunch, the Rhinos over the last 4 or 5 years just haven't quite been right. But I do think they've got the beating of Hull KR. Whatever strategy that Brad Arthur puts in front of the players seems to be enough to handle Hull KR. Hull KR have had an enormous 3 or 4 weeks, mentally, emotionally, physically. They looked a little bit drained. I expected Leeds to win. I didn't expect them to put the points on the board that they did, but I put it down to...
No one predicted 58-6
No, and with the narrowness of the pitch and it being a little bit short, I thought it would have been a bit tighter. It's the second time there's been a blowout. Wigan Warrington was a blowout, but Sevo was unbelievable.
And to say he missed last season through injury, I mean, obviously, what an asset he's going to be to Leeds.
He's absolutely huge. The strength and power of the man. And nobody's stopping him 10, 15 metres close to the line. He reminds me of the 2 wingers that Bradford had back in my day, Vainikolo and Vicona, who
him
again...
and Ryan Hall, what a pair.
Well, Ryan Hall over on the right. They've also, they've got pace without a doubt. They've got speed, they've got pace, they've got craft in Jake Connor, who was unbelievable on the day. But what they've got is they've got that strike on the edges.
Let's talk Jake Connor. That was a man of steel performance, wasn't it?
It was.
He was fantastic. The way he ran the show, I thought he was superb.
It was a man of steel performance. He controlled the tempo, he controlled the direction of his team. The 40-20 kick that he put in just showed that he had an understanding and a good reading of the game. But I can't help but thinking that was a little nod to England, and look, have a look at what you could have won if Jake Connor had been in or around that team. Who knows what would have happened in the Ashes? I
mean, obviously, Mika got the headlines for the 4 tries, but I just thought Jake Connor was superb.
In the forwards, Leeds were good. On the edges, Leeds were good. But it was the control of Jake Connor that was the biggest difference for me. I haven't seen him play as good as that in a Leeds jersey. I think that's the finest Jake Connor performance in a Leeds jersey.
What about skipper Ash Hanley? I thought he put in another big performance.
Harry Newman over on the other side was good with the ball, and he was aggressive in defence. But Ash Hanley, who's coming back off injury, his defensive work and his control and his communication with people around him. I sat at the back of the sticks. It was brilliant for me. It's the first time I've sat in the stand with the fans for a long time, and my favourite bit of the day, if you put the game to one side, is there was myself, Jamie Peacock, Matt Diskin, Danny Maguire, and at the end of the game we're all singing songs. The fans were asking various players to say, Danny, give us a song, and Danny Maguire duly obliged and sang his song. Oh, Danny Maguire. Brilliant. So we all sang it one after another. Brilliant.
But I thought Ash Hanley all week long as well. Obviously, he played very well. He handled himself very well. He spoke very well at Fremont Street. He spoke very well after the game. I thought he set the tone for the whole Leeds squad.
And I think he's become a really accomplished leader within that group. He's got people like Callum Watkins just to lean on, and Callum Watkins was the captain, and Ash Hanley had a leadership role, and it's now reversed. But yeah, I think they can look back at the last week Leeds Rhinos and say we're going to take a lot from that, take a lot on the pitch, a lot off the pitch, the time that the players have spent together. But it's a wonderful exercise for any side that goes there, whether it's your team or not. I would say to people, I recommend you go.
Well, let's hear from the skipper, Ash Hanley. I spoke to him after the game.
Well, put that into words.
Oh, every team talks about what they want to go do, the game plan, and we've just executed it. We've gone out and done what we said we were going to do. Proud of the lads. What an experience. We want to enjoy tonight, but you can't enjoy tonight if you don't perform. So we come out here and we perform.
That was some performance from everyone.
Well, I just said to the boys there, we played like that because everyone is across their job. Everybody in our team knows what it's about, knows how we want to play, and like I say, we've gone out and executed it.
And how proud are you right now?
Oh, so proud. I'm a Leeds lad, and to see us on the global stage and perform like that, it's unbelievable.
And how much have you enjoyed your time in Las Vegas?
Oh, mate, one of a kind. We'll probably never get this experience ever again, so we're just soaking it up and we're going to enjoy tonight.
Good luck and enjoy tonight.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Ash Hanley there speaking to me after the game. Right, that was one hell of a Leeds performance. But as Brodie Arthur said to me after the game, it means nothing if I don't kick on now.
Yeah, I think when you listen and watch Brodie Arthur, you sometimes think, how does he get his kicks? What's going to make this fella happy? But what they've got now is a very difficult game at weekend. We saw with Hull KR and the World Club Challenge, you're only as good as your last game. So they've got Cast Tigers. Cast Tigers will come into this buoyed by their first win of the season. They didn't pick up any injuries to my knowledge, I don't think. So the Rhinos, with the squad that they've got, with the players that will come back in time, they'll look to get this next month and get some real momentum going.
It's been a long time since Leeds have won it, 2017. I know that's only one performance, but ultimately that's got to be the aim for a Leeds Rhino squad, hasn't it?
Yeah,
to go and win it.
I know they won it in 2017, and I know it was the Danny Maguire and Rob Burrow final. It was their last appearances for the club, but I think you probably have to go back to 2015 when they won the treble. That was the end of the golden generation, the end of the era, and I know there's been a Challenge Cup victory in there as well, but I said right from day dot I thought Leeds would win something this year, whether it's the Cup or the Grand Final itself. They look well balanced, they look to have the right amount of youth, experience, they're hungry. They look good and competent in defence, and the attack is starting to come. So I think you can be optimistic if you follow the blue and amber, but as we know, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, because the key for Brodie Arthur is definitely consistency, isn't it? Because that's what was lacking last season.
What I saw when they played Lee in the first game is how important Jake Connor is, and obviously on the biggest stage, biggest game of the year, he stepped up, and that's the reason the scoreboard looked how it did. Young George Brown looks a good prospect, but he's got to learn as much as he can all day, every day from the likes of Jake Connor.
What went wrong for Hull KR then, do you think?
They look drained to me. They look like they had a lot of highs and a lot of investment in that World Club Challenge, and they can be forgiven. You felt sorry, and I know Willie Peters after the game said, I feel sorry for the fans that have travelled. They look like they had a good time to me. They look like, although the game didn't go their way, they were still going to enjoy the couple of days in Vegas. But what went wrong? Most things went wrong, didn't they?
Yeah, but what we can reflect on Hull KR, what a few months have had. The week before, World Club Challenge winners.
I was at that not Golden Point game. I was at the game where they got relegated. I saw the £1 million game.
So
sorry,
that is only 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, and then 10 years later, World Club champions, and they're in Vegas.
Yeah, and I'm delighted for Hull KR. I'm delighted for the people that have invested time and effort into it. I'm delighted for the people on the terraces, and it's been a wonderful journey. It didn't go for them at the weekend, but they've got to pick themselves back up and get on with what's at hand.
Because they were excellent last year, weren't they? I mean, you know yourself that, winning the treble is one hell of a feat. Yeah,
and obviously if you stick the World Club Challenge in there, they've won everything that's available to them. Willie Peters is a hell of a coach, and he's got a real momentum behind that side now. Elliot Minchella is the captain. He's another one that's desperate to win, desperate to keep that winning feeling. But as you know, it's easier hunting than being hunted. And now everybody each week is after the World Club Challenge victors and everything else. The target is well and truly on their back.
Well, Barry just mentioned the relegation in 2016, then the treble last year, the World Club Challenge and a trip to Vegas. Well, in Las Vegas, I sat down with the owner, Neil Hudgell, to get his thoughts on what life has been like as the Hull KR owner in the last few months.
Put it into words, you've been chairman for over 20 years, you're the majority owner now, you've seen the lows, you saw the relegation, and 10 years on, you're now in Vegas as world champions.
Very hard to put it into words, I guess. I think we have had some what have been really pissed down the years, and I think for me it's about enjoying it now. There's been a lot of heartache, a lot of difficult times, and it's about absorbing it, soaking up, and enjoying each experience. And the last 8 months has been from one height to another, I guess. Starting with the Cup, League Leaders, Grand Final, and then last week against Broncos, and of course this as well has its own uniqueness. I thought I'd seen most things, but the experience on Thursday night down Fremont Street was just a different level, a real different level.
As an owner, did you take a lot from that, what happened at Fremont Street, thinking, right, this is what we can do with rugby league, this is where we can take rugby league forward?
Yeah, what I thought about that was that we bash our game and we think that the Australians have the answer to everything. In actual fact, one thing that we've got that they don't quite seem to have in the same volume is passion for our sport. As we turned up, the Rhinos were on the stage, we went on the stage, and then some of us hung around, and there was a visible drop-off.
Yeah, definitely. The atmosphere dropped.
Yeah, completely different, and they watch sport in a different way. So, while we look for the negatives in our game, which we're very good at finding, there's a lot of positives. The product's fantastic. The passion of the sport base is just incredible. We need to wax a bit more lyrical about those, but at a time when I think we're now militating towards a position where we've got a new TV deal, talk about investment, we need to grasp those opportunities and take the game off in a better direction.
Neil Hudgell, I tell you what, Barry, it's been some roller coaster for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, and he's a great guy
Chairman
as well.
for 20 years, owner.
And a fan. First and foremost, he's a fan. And I've lost count of the games where I've seen, and I've been at the game commentating, I've seen him on the pitch with his kids playing with a rugby ball. So he's a proper rugby fan, and I'm delighted for him and everybody concerned with the club. So yeah, there's a big job for them, but it starts this week, doesn't it?
I spoke to him on Sunday morning, and he said, he was obviously disappointed, but he said, hey, yeah, that's top level sport. He said, you got the highs and the lows. And he said a week before we had a high of a World Club Challenge. He was quite balanced about it.
He's a pragmatic man. You've never seen him be too excited or too down. That's the reason he's stuck through thick and thin with the club. So yeah, it's the beginning of the season. And I remember being at Wigan and Kelvin Skerritt, the old front row forward, who was a quite abrasive character, and he said to me that nobody remembers what happens in the first 4, 5, 6, 8 rounds of the competition. It's all about the end. It's all about the business end. And if you're in the mix and you're on top form, people won't forget what happens in round 2 or 3.
But it's been an incredible journey, isn't it? When you think it was 40 years since a major trophy, 45 years since winning the Challenge Cup, and then what a season they've just had at Hull KR.
It's a wonderful time to be connected with the club. They'll be enjoying it, but they won't be allowed to enjoy it for too long because, as we say, the week in, week out grind of Super League is right at the crutch of what they need to get their heads around now.
Yeah, and they're on 0 points as well in the Super League after
Who would
losing
have said
to
that,
York
Mark?
in the first game of the season. Yeah.
Who would have said that? It's Hull KR, Huddersfield just above them in the competition ladder, and they haven't performed anywhere near at their best in the league, but as we say, you can soon get rid of those memories with a good win this week.
Look, I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for us, but we've got no idea what day it is or time it is because we've been in Las Vegas. But what we do know, it's been a brilliant start to the season, hasn't it? I mean, York beating Hull KR on the opening day of the season. York have won 2 games now.
Yeah.
Bradford have won 2 games. Toulouse have won 2 games. So, the new teams who have come up are battling it. And then Wigan. I watched Wigan Lee out in Las Vegas. Wigan look very, very good.
Well, let's park Wigan for one minute. To have the Bulls at 4th, York at 6th, and then just outside the top 6, Toulouse at equal competition points. Full credit to the new boys. They've come in and really shook up, haven't they? Nobody expected them to get a handful of wins, and there they are with 2 from 3. So first and foremost, full credit to them. They've got to maintain that now. The squad depth and their experience within the squad, etc., will start to be important a little bit further down the track. But Wigan, my word, aren't they a good side? And Matt Peet took the disappointment of last year, and has made it into motivation. That's what great teams do. They might have flat periods, but they don't last too long. And Wigan, who have a difficult game, a difficult trip over to Toulouse this week, will go at it full of confidence. You might see Matt Peet rotate some players, maybe not. But yeah, they are certainly the team to beat, Wigan.
We'll talk about Wigan's game in a moment. Just a reminder, the next live game on the Sportsman is Betfred Challenge Cup action, and it's on the 14th of March, Saturday the 14th of March, and it's an absolute cracker. Huddersfield versus the current Challenge Cup champions, Hull KR. So Huddersfield versus the holders, Hull KR. Coverage starts at 2:45, kick-off at 3 o'clock. Live and exclusive on the Sportsman on Saturday the 14th of March. Right, let's turn our attention to this weekend's fixtures. Starting on Thursday night, Wakefield Trinity versus Hull, and Barry, it's one win for each at the moment.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Wakefield, we were disappointed. I was at their last home game. Toulouse came and pinched the points, but they outplayed them in many aspects of the game. So Wakefield will want to get that win. Hull FC, injuries have really hampered them, haven't they? And I'm thinking specifically of Will Price, who's out for the year with an ACL. So both teams determined, as everybody is at this point in the year, both teams determined, but I think home advantage, the disappointment of the last home game, should be enough for Wakefield to get a win.
Friday night, Lee Leopards versus the Catalan Dragons. Again, both just one each, both these teams.
Catalan defeated heavily at home to St Helens. We always knew with the turnover of players and the way that Catalan have approached recruitment and retention, they've gone for very much a younger squad. They've got rid of some of the 30 plus players, 30 years of age plus players they had in the squad, so that's obviously had an effect on their side. But Lee at home, I think they'll get home.
Also on Friday night, York Knights versus Warrington Wolves.
Warrington, how good were they last week? I know it was a close game, but that resolve and that steel and sometimes a close game, you can take more out of a close game. Mark Sneed doing what Mark Sneed does with the drop goal. You can get more out of a close game. So I think Warrington will go there full of confidence and they'll get the win in this one, Mark.
And then on Saturday, you've mentioned this already, Wigan have looked imperious so far, 3 out of 3. I think this is a test, travelling to Toulouse.
But they're too good for me. I know Toulouse were the surprise on round 1. They got a victory the week after, but nothing for them at Bradford last week. I suppose for Toulouse, it's about learning how to get yourself emotionally and mentally up to the levels that you need to when you're at a team, you know, newly promoted team like they are, and you're not quite at the same arousal level. So that's that game against Wigan. They'll have their levels aroused, but I don't think they'll have enough quality, and the standards will be high with the Wigan team.
Also on Saturday, St Helens versus Bradford. More bad injury news for St Helens. Alex Walmsley going to sideline for at least 6 weeks. So St Helens, Bradford.
Saints, for me, they're still getting used to the coach. They're still getting used to the new way of playing. Jackson Hastings is having a growing influence on the side. I think they get that. I think they get it at home. I think they get it by quite a few as well. So it should be a big win for Saints.
And then move to Sunday, the two teams involved in Las Vegas. Huddersfield Giants versus Hull KR. 3 defeats for Huddersfield so far. And of course, Hull KR on 0 points.
Yeah, Huddersfield, it's a real tough time for them. They're going to be at home. Hull KR need to win. It's a must win for them. All the shenanigans, all the distractions, everything that's been going on over the last couple of weeks matter not now. It's about getting the win. They should put in a professional performance. They should put in a competent performance, and they'll win, but not by much, I don't think.
And also on Sunday, the Leeds Rhinos, who were excellent in Las Vegas, versus Castleford. Leeds have got to back it up, haven't they?
Well, there was a determination straight after the whistle had finished. Once they got over the euphoria of Vegas, they very much had their minds on Castleford. Cass and Leeds is a big derby. It's a big West Yorkshire derby anyway. Cass usually don't mind how many games they win as long as the Rhinos ones are in the winning column. So I get it. I'm getting the feeling that there's a mentality in the squad at the Rhinos that just is able to cope with stuff like this. So I'm going for Leeds to win by a couple.
Right, to finish things off, you told us how you were sat amongst the Leeds fans. About 15,000 Super League fans went out there, which is fantastic for the game, fantastic for the sport. How good was Las Vegas then?
It was brilliant to see, and as I say, it very much reminded me of Wembley in my old days. You saw different shirts all over the place.
I met Leigh fans, I met a Wakefield fan,
Cumbrians,
met a Featherstone fan.
Cumbrians, even people from Oldham, even people from where I live had saved, and once they'd got the fixture, once they knew the flights and the hotels, etc., they all believed that they wanted to be part of that. And as I say, I would highly recommend anybody to do it. I would say start saving now, because I've spent an absolute fortune.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
And it hasn't even been on the gambling tables. It was just on food and drinks.
And you made it a little bit special. You and the missus, what did you do?
Oh, we got Elvis to renew our vows after 27 years. You think that playing in Super League or going down the zip wire or on any of those things in life are dangerous. Try being married for 27 years. So yeah, we renewed our vows. Elvis did the ceremony, and yeah, it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
All shook up with you?
I was all shook up. I even took the same best man. Terry O'Connor was out there, and he still... Yeah. I asked him not to sign the contract, and he did. He's not doing me any favours, is he?
Brilliant, brilliant. So there we are, back safely from Las Vegas. Unbelievable experience out there. Well done to the Leeds Rhinos, but well done to all the fans out there as well. They made the event very, very special. Barry, thanks for coming in. I won't ask you what time it is, I won't ask you what day it is, but good to see you. Las Vegas was fantastic. Stay fabulous.